This is and we call it,
and we lured you here.
Calling the MacBook Pro.
So guys, the Apple lineup of 2017 and 2018, I'm gonna explain you guys everything, every single little tiny product for you guys, so you guys can understand it way better, because in this year and the next year Apple will release a lot of new projects and it might be a little bit frustrating to understand. Getting on with the first one, the iPad. So the original iPad was released in 2010, and since that model we had a lot of different iPads, which I will show you right now. We have the iPad 1, 2, 3, 4, the iPad Air, the iPad Air 2, the iPad Pro, the bigger iPad Pro, and of course the iPad 2017. So for 2017-2018 Apple has 3 models. So for the really high specs you will have the iPad Pro. For the really big screen, the iPad Pro 12.9 inch, and just the best buy for your money will be the iPad 2017. Between those models we also of course have the iPad mini, the iPad mini 1, 2, 3 and 4.
And we are calling it iPhone.
Moving on to the next product, the iPhone, which is Apple's most famous project. The original iPhone was released in 2007 and it was a really small phone. You couldn't do much with it, but for that time it was really sick because it had a touchscreen.
And boy, have we patented it.
So the last 10 years we had a lot of different iPhones, starting off with the iPhone 2G, the 3G, 3GS, 4, 4S, 5, 5S, and then we had the 5C. Then we had the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, 6S and 6S Plus, 7 and 7 Plus. If we are looking at the mobile devices nowadays, there are only touchscreens on the market and almost no device with physical buttons, which means the iPhone was a world changer. So because this year is the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, this year in September Apple will be releasing 3 new models, which will be the 7S and the 7S Plus, and an iPhone 8/X/iPhone edition. We don't know the name yet, but it will be a sick phone.
And 4.5 times better than the G5. And so today we are introducing a new notebook computer that we are calling the MacBook Pro.
Moving on to the next product, the MacBook. The first ever created Apple laptop was released in 1989. The lineup of 2017 is a MacBook Air, a MacBook Pro, and the normal MacBook. So the MacBook is the 12-inch screen with not the highest spec, but still it's pretty expensive.
Oh, hell no!
Then we have the MacBook Air, which has some nice specs. It is 13-inch, but still not for the professional users. And then we have the MacBook Pro, which starts at around $1,500, and then it can go up to almost $3,000. But for that you will have some really nice specs and some really high performance, also with a touch bar.
Well, today I'm incredibly pleased to introduce iMac, our consumer product.
The next product is the desktop version of the MacBook, which Apple calls the iMac. The original iMac was released in 1988, and since then we had 5 different generations, so let me show you. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation, and fifth generation. So for this year Apple has the 5th generation, and it is available in 2 screen sizes, and for both of them you have different components you can order and customize your iMac the way you want to. Also, for the end of this year, Apple has a iMac Pro which looks sick in space gray, and it has the highest specs, and it will be at a ridiculous price point.
You're introducing a product today that takes us exactly there, and that product is called iPod. iMac, iBook, iPod.
So the next product of Apple is actually slowly dying and nobody knows. Of course, I'm talking about the Apple iPod. The reason why the iPod is dying because the iPhone can do everything the iPod also can, and it is just a bit more expensive and you can call with it, so why would you buy an iPod? So in 2017 Apple has the iPod Touch, iPod Nano and iPod Shuffle, although Apple just has said they will quit the iPod Nano and the Shuffle completely. The next products are some accessories from Apple which you won't need daily, but they have them, so let me show you. The first accessory is the Apple Watch. The original Apple Watch was released in 2014 and now we are already on the second generation, and it might be as well that alongside with the iPhone 8 Apple will be releasing the third generation. So there are different Apple Watches. We have the Apple Watch Sport and we have the Apple Watch Edition, and yeah, just a lot of them. The next one will be the HomePod, which is an device like the Alexa from Amazon, and it is Siri in a speaker and it can do everything what you want. And the last thing of the accessories is the Apple TV. So the Apple TV allows you to stream your device straight to the Apple TV. And with that, guys, we came to the end of this video.
There is one more thing.
There is one more thing. But there is one last thing. Here it is. There is one more little thing. But there is one more thing.
Now there's one more thing.
If you liked it, if you loved it, subscribe to my channel. I've hit 2K followers. Thank you so much for that. And I hope to see you guys in the next video.